Good, are you ready? Okay. Can I call meeting to order, please?
No, that's okay.
It is, there is my date here, Wednesday, March 8th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Calling to order Code Enforcement Advisory Committee. And could we start with a roll call, please?
Chair Emma Hines,
Here.
Vice Chair Summerson,
Here.
Member Strom, present. Member Hughes,
Present.
Member Chisholm,
Present.
Member Hart, Member Mitchell,
Present.
Member Shudock,
Present.
Councilmember Wessel,
Present.
Staff Member Babin,
Present.
Staff Liaison Krupa.
Present.
We have quorum.
Thank you very much. Let's take a look at the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any questions about the minutes, any clarifications, any corrections in places? Okay, hearing none, can I have a motion to accept the minutes, please? Motion. Okay, Matt, and a second, please. All in favor of accepting the minutes from last meeting, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. And that motion passes. Let's move on. It's March. And we, our bylaws say that we nominate and elect new officers in March. And so I'm opening, let's start with the chair first, and then we'll go to the vice chair. Is there anybody who'd like to nominate a person for the chair position?
I would like to.
All right,
I would like to nominate you.
all right, thank you, appreciate that.
I think you've done a stellar job.
Thanks.
And if you're willing, I would like to see you continue.
Well, I will accept that, thank you very much. Was there a second to the nomination?
I second it.
All right. All in favor of me continuing for another year as chair of the SEAC committee, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's move on to the vice chair. Do we have a nomination for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Matthew Mitchell, if he's
Okay.
okay with that.
All right. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think it would be an honor and privilege. So.
Okay.
I'd second it.
All right, we have a second. All in favor of Matthew Mitchell being the vice chair for the next year, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Moving on. Do you want to switch places now?
Let's be official. I'll go to the hot side.
Stay, you
The hot
behave.
seat.
You behave. Doing that, let's move on to public forum. This is an opportunity for the public to address SEAC. There is an expectation that the presentation will be conducted in a respectful manner. Committee members may ask questions for clarification, but there will not be any dialogue. Please limit your presentation to 3 minutes. And I believe we have some people signed up. Who's our first one? Shelley, do you have the list? Thank you. Okay. All right. Looks like we have one sign up, and that's for Mr. Benjamin Ben David. Thank you for joining us again. You can begin.
Okay. I just want to thank the Englewood Code Enforcement for writing the letter regarding nuisance abatement ordinance and forwarding that to the recommendation letter to the Englewood City Council. Somehow that recommendation letter has been stalled somewhere along the line in the City Council. What steps can be taken either by code enforcement or by the City Council to determine what the stall is and how to fix it? Also, I want to remind everyone here why we need this nuisance abatement passed. It's all connected to one single address on my block. That's 2831 South Lincoln Street, apartments A, B, and C, Englewood, Colorado 80113. On November 19th, 2025, EPD SWAT. Can I read the case number, the police case number? Is that okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that all right? Because it's
That's
public.
public
Public record.
information, yeah.
EPD case number 25-09956. This was linked to apartment B. The whole neighborhood was shut down for 4 hours. The suspect that was arrested had 2 fugitive from justice warrants, and numerous drugs were found in the house. December 15th, 2025, a certain person that lived at 2831 apartment B, Inglewood, police case number 25-10245, blocked my driveway when I came home from the grocery store, blocked me from getting in, was on my property and wouldn't leave until I called the police, and then ran into his house and the police weren't able to talk to him or apprehend him. That case is still going on in the city attorney's office. I don't know why this is taking so long. Is anyone here from the attorney's office today? Nobody? Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask the attorney office what's going on with that. I've issued them numerous, about 15 emails to what's going on and why this is taking so long. I really want this guy to be arrested. Detectives investigated this, then EPD came to my house and gave me picture mugshots. I don't know if anybody's ever done that. You have to identify the person. They have people that kind of look like him, but I was able to identify him pretty accurately. On February 15th, 2026 at 2831, apartment B again, someone overdosed there, and they called EMS, EPD, and about 5 police cars and about 12 police officers were there. I guess that's kind of common if it's a drug overdose or someone with, alcoholism or something like that happening. I've gone to the hospital before. I never had all that drama. It was just 2 paramedics or EMTs picking me up, and they said, "Come on with us," and we went outside. So that was quite the episode. The person was overdosing, and they gave them Narcan through the nose, but the new medications out there now, new drugs out there now are so hot that even Narcan doesn't work anymore. You've got to do like 6 to 7 squirts of Narcan to get the person to come back. So I don't know what happened with that case. Let's see, March 15th, 2026, they started building a fence around the front of the property there, a 3 to 4 foot fence. I called up the city. I talked to Ryan and with development, and he said, no, there's no permit. So this fits into everything that they do. They just don't follow the rules. They don't follow the law. And I think he sent code out to put a stop to it, like a work stop. I'm not quite sure.
That is 3 minutes.
What's that?
That is 3 minutes.
That's 3 minutes? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I got a lot more, but.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Van David?
Yes, hello. I'd like to speak.
Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry, who is this?
Okay.
I have a question.
Do you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, we're going to hold
Yes,
for
hello.
just a second.
Yes, I'd like to speak if possible.
He'll be next. If you want to ask your
Do
question.
we get 3 minutes?
Yeah, we're
please?
going to do the question first. I just want to make sure that it's
Okay.
acceptable. We've gotten, did we have notification that we had someone online? Okay. All right. Well, if you'll hold on for just a second, please, we're going to have a question regarding Mr. Van David, and then we'll take your information too. Go ahead, Michael.
Mr. Van David, this is just clarification. So it's my understanding you've done everything you can do to raise it up the flagpole as many times as you can. This committee has tried to do what it can do to raise it up the flagpole as much as we can. So at this point in time, you're in limbo, just waiting for an answer from the police department?
I've been waiting in limbo for 8 years for the police. This has been going on since 2018. This is 8 years ago. And I've got 25 cases myself personally against 2831. There have been over, I think now, 150 service.
I understand.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying that at this point in time, what are you waiting on? What's the next thing that you hope happens on your?
What I hope happens is, number one is this case against this individual from 2831. That's kind of in limbo with the city prosecutor's office. That's Arnold Schunitsen. I'm waiting to hear back from him. I was hoping someone would be here today from the city attorney's office. No one's here. And this letter, this nuisance abatement letter that originated from this committee, which I'm very thankful for, went up the chain somehow, and it stuck in city council somewhere. And I think this was issued, what, about a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that. And it's somewhere along that timeline. And it's stuck in limbo there. And I think it goes to the city council, then it goes to the mayor, then it goes to Sean Lewis, and then he's got to make the recommendations to Chief Jackson. It's gone to the mayor, okay. But some, you know, somewhere it's hanging in limbo. I don't know if the city council has to debate it, if they have to vote on it. I don't know how that goes on. And is there anything you guys can do to put a little pressure on?
I'm going to break this for just a second, because you're here and I don't want you to have to stay until the end of the meeting to get a response back from our city council member. Rita, can you clarify where this got left?
Okay, and I will talk, I was going to talk about this during my council members report. I took this to city council the week you handed it to me. I didn't have the document with me. I brought it up in the public comment, told the mayor I'd forward the email. This is how the system works. I forwarded it to the mayor and the city manager, and there was a council request, and I gave a report on the council request, not last month, but the month before, on what they did. In essence, if I can remember this correctly, and I told you, I stuck up for you. This committee was kind of reprimanded for ordering the police what they could do. And the bottom line is, I didn't see it that way. Mr. Ben David, I apologize. It is not council's place to take this. It goes to, that came to council, shared it with the city manager. The city manager probably dealt with it with the police department. I don't know what happens. We haven't been given an update. And I'm going to address an issue during my time about something I'm very highly offended about. But it's, in some ways, I feel your pain. You are in limbo. That's what I think.
Okay.
And the city attorney, I really do not believe that there's going to be an attorney that comes to this meeting anymore unless there's a reason that this committee needs. The attorney was here because you were working on the ordinance. The ordinance.
The last meeting I was here, when he was here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
But it was, they were working, the committee was working on the chronic nuisance ordinance.
But they're not standardly here for every
No,
meeting?
they're not.
Oh, okay.
That's not normal procedure for our level
Okay.
to have someone.
Okay.
Now, what I do feel, Mr. Ben David, is that this committee can take this up and see if you can, put a little pressure on council and.
Well, and I'm not, this isn't our time to talk about this, but I did want you to get a response directly from Member Russell so that you knew that this was proceeded with. And I'm about as confused as you are right now, so I apologize.
Oh, yeah. If I could just say one more thing. If you go on YouTube and look at other cities that have this approved and in place, it's pretty incredible what happens. You know, it goes in place, it happens. Every city deals with these nuisance addresses in different ways, but it's very effective and it works very, very well. I was highly impressed. I can't wait until this happens in Inglewood. So,
Thank you.
I've got my fingers crossed.
Thank you very much for coming in. Okay, we're going to go on to the next person who is online. Could we get your name, please? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, could we get your name and where you live, please?
I prefer to be anonymous for my safety. I
Okay,
don't think you passed.
we don't have that flexibility, being able to allow for anonymity on public during public presentation. If there is something you would like to submit to the committee in writing, you're welcome to do that. But again, we cannot have that as an anonymous statement. It can be presented and we can share that at the next meeting, and we will treat it with.
I would like to speak real quick here. I know you were debating this the other day. Yeah, for safety reasons, I prefer not to give my name or cross streets. If maybe a city council member could step in, they would know the regulations more than I do.
Okay,
Actually, I think the policy of this committee, if you want to talk and you want to remain anonymous, you need to call the Community Development Department and speak with the executive assistant to give your information to them, and then you can remain anonymous. But the policy of the committee is that you probably cannot.
Do you need my last name, or can I just give my first name?
Can you give, well, I don't know what.
Initials?
If you provide me your information in the chat,
Yeah, but that's public though. Anyone can see that. But yeah, I mean, I'll give my. I prefer not to give.
Announce it on. We'll have that information on the chat, but you don't have to announce the information online, if you will.
Are you the only one that sees that, AJ?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you know who this is. I mean, maybe they could just give that to the chairperson.
we won't see that online. We can't see any aspect of a chat of any kind. So that.
Okay, you want to put my name in the chat? Cool.
Yes, and cross streets.
And cross streets, please.
What's this here? True. Okay. Got it?
All right, thank you very much for providing that. Yes, and you have 3 minutes, so go ahead and begin.
Okay, today you step outside, you think you're wandering through a zombie land. The streets are a mess, real crime is ignored, and yet the liberal establishment running this corrupt city of Englewood, Colorado, seems to think our biggest threat is a homeowner's peeling paint. Take a look at your code enforcement division. Look at old Alex there. I met with him and I talked to him on a recorded line. He's strutting around our neighborhoods. He wouldn't come out to our house or our home. You outfit these guys like they're gearing up for tactical military raids, driving around in customized cruisers on the taxpayer's dime. He's like a glorified homeowner association president, measuring weeds and harassing working folks who just want to be left alone on their own property. Our streets are literally turning into zombie lands, and your priority is writing up citizens over a fence. It's a spectacular failure of leadership. So is he there tonight? If he could address my phone call when he said, quote, the city, they can just run that place down. It's not my problem. You can send me pictures of the mess that they created for these elderly disabled folks. And he said, oh, I don't have a file open, but you can send them and I'll open one up, close it. There's nothing I can do. So basically he's just a dog catcher. And what's a misdemeanor? Like Rita said, I mean, if you have SWAT teams coming to your house every week, the U.S. Marshals, what's a misdemeanor? They don't even cross state lines. I mean, you all been talking about this for years. I just moved to the city. I really don't care about the way it is because we know how it is. But it looks like Rita is the only one, and then we're coming to vote. So anyways, that's all I want to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions from the committee? Okay, I'm seeing none. Thank you very much for your comment, and we appreciate it. Okay, moving on. Let's go on to, that's it, isn't it, for public? Okay, thank you. Let's move on to committees, the communications subcommittee, and we have a larger section of that down in the new business down there, so we don't really need much. I would be interested to know if there's been any progress beyond what we had last week, AJ, from regarding the process of purchasing. I know we're still waiting on the change to code compliance before we commit to anything like that. Anything new on that at all?
We're just waiting for the name change to take official effect.
Okay.
And then we are working with finance and that on the procurement process. And so that's all hopefully in place once the name change takes effect, so we can move forward
Okay.
with all the Q alert, the magnets, as well as the tablecloth and all that.
Very good. Thank you.
I'd like to say, AJ, when they do that procurement of the magnets for Angle Fix, we need to make a lot of them because there's going to be, community development's going to want to use them as well. And possibly even the police department, other departments may want to use the Angle Fix to get the word out, keep it out there.
And that'll be part of if it'll be one magnet that will be available to multiple departments.
Right.
And how the procurement process works, it may just be, we will order a group and charge for just this committee, and then if other groups in that want to participate, they can put in a procurement request for the same magnets, and it'll come out of sort of their budget, but it won't be tied into this committee's overall request, but it would be the same magnet for each group that requests it. So it'd be the same branding and all that for citywide,
Right.
but it would just be, say, 200 magnets assigned for this group, and then another group requests it, and that's how that would be dished out. That'd all be done through the procurement process.
Thank you. Grass and Weeds Subcommittee, we have the final approved ordinance. You've received a copy of that. Do you have any comments on that, Carrie, in terms of the process that we've gone through thus far, what the next steps are with it?
Well, so next steps would be to have it go to planning and zoning. I believe you mentioned sustainability as well. You'd like to see it go there.
Yeah.
And then after that, it will go to council.
To council, okay. And these changes that were made were per the discussion we had, I believe, last time, and that you've kind of firmed up the language on it and that kind of thing?
Correct, so that's the final clean copy with all the changes captured in it.
Okay, great.
Question. Why does it go to planning and zoning?
Because of Title 16, there's definition of weeds in there, so it kind of ties into them a little bit too.
The reason that I've requested that we pass this document by the Sustainability Commission also. They're early on, before you were here, we had discussions with them. They were kind of coming up with some ideas on how this should be structured because of their understanding of plants, weeds, noxious weeds, those types of things. So I wanted to make sure that they had a chance to see it prior to it being finalized also. That's not an approval for them. We're not expecting them to go through with rigorous process. It's more of an awareness piece. So I just want to make sure that they knew about it because their name's on it. So, I did want to make one correction there, Carrie, at the top, and I'm sorry I'm not looking at it right now. At the beginning of that resolution, thank you. The third paragraph there, which says, whereas the Englewood Code Enforcement Advisory Board should be committee and Englewood Sustainability should be commission. You can make those corrections, please. there anything anybody else saw in there that they had questions about or felt it was not per what we had our discussion about? Okay. All righty, thank you very much. Let's keep moving. We're moving on to 6C, which is the review of 15.8.1 through 15.10.1. So if you have that available, can you please open to it? And Cindy, I want to also mention, I apologize I didn't mention this sooner, but we've been doing this for literally months, okay, kind of going through step by step any of the Inglewood municipal codes that apply to the code compliance division. And part of our charge from council is to do a regular review of that to basically help us better understand it, but also to kind of make recommendations if there's verbiage in there that might be dated. You know, it's things that aren't necessarily correct anymore, referencing something that maybe was done 5 to 10 years ago, but is not accurate to this year. So we're just kind of doing that review process. So let's begin with 15.8.1, which is the anti-scavenging code here. Is there any questions about that? Did anybody have anything they wanted to add to that? I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't see any questions about it myself. I take the silence as it's okay. All right, let's keep moving. 15.9.1 has to do with inoperable vehicles. It's a little bit more involved. Any questions regarding the definitions of what an inoperable vehicle is and what some of the parameters are? I know this, it has been, and the next one have been, they have been affected because there was a ballot question back in 2011 regarding this, which set a lot of this in motion. There are changes that cannot be made to this without another ballot question coming up. So we don't, even if we had a lot of suggestions here, I don't know that we would have any effect on it. But is there any questions about what it says?
Inoperable motor vehicles residents, or is it just inoperable motor vehicles, period?
There's actually 2 different sections. One's for residences and one's for non-residential.
Okay.
My question is, how is an inoperable vehicle determined? How can you look at a vehicle and know that it's inoperable?
So inoperable under Title 42, as well as what we go by is basically, is it road legal? Is it operable to be on the roads? So is it current registration? Does it have tires? Is it legally allowed to be on the roadway? Would be operable or not operable.
Okay, so as long as his tag is current on it, and that's on property or on public property?
Correct.
Okay. It's assumed that if it has 4 wheels and that kind of thing, it's probably an operable vehicle. Okay. I got confused down at A4. One, inoperable vehicle may be stored in the rear or side yard if it is not on a grass surface screened from view of an adjacent property in public right-of-way. If it is not on a grass surface. And then the next part tends to address grass surfaces. It just seems a little bit.
I had to read that like 10 times.
Yeah, I agree.
Something's not right here.
Is there any way that that could be clarified or brought into maybe one thing rather than referencing it in 2 different sections? And it just seems clunky. It's the best word I can use.
Are you talking about A4 and then B1?
I'm talking about A4 and then when you go on to B1, yes.
So the difference is the zones. So it's residential versus all other zones. So it does repeat just because they're clarifying what zone the regulation is covering.
Okay,
I think where there's confusion is just the concept of if it is not on a grass surface. So
It should have
you're
a
either saying it's on
and
dirt or it's on concrete pad.
Gravel.
defining what it's
Keywords.
on, not what it's not on.
So as long as it's not on a grass surface, it can be on anything else but grass.
and is screened from view.
Correct.
Yeah, but the way it's, I don't know, it's worded kind of funky.
It
I
just,
agree
it
with you.
just reads funny. It really does. I'm sorry. Going on to B1, no inoperable vehicle shall be screened from view of an adjacent property in public's right of way or in a fully enclosed structure. A fully enclosed structure, is that something you can't see through?
It's a
So an
garage.
enclosed structure would be, yeah,
Like a garage?
Carport wouldn't qualify because that's not enclosed.
An inoperable vehicle behind a screen, is that acceptable? Behind a fence?
Behind a fence would be screened from view.
It would be screened, even a chain link fence.
If the chain link fence has screening on it, possibly,
Through it.
it would depend on
And
what's on it.
I bring it up because there's plenty of properties, particularly in the car working area, that vehicles tend to be behind a chain link fence, but you can see them, I'm sorry. I've seen
Yeah,
one car there for
view.
10 years.
Yeah, and then that's where the subsection 2 falls in as well.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions about that section? Okay, moving on. Off-road vehicles and trailers. Any questions regarding 1592?
I guess my question is, where does a motorcycle or an ATV fall into the definition of an off-road vehicle? Is that an off-road, are those types of off-road vehicles, or are we talking about a four-wheel drive Jeep Willys or a?
So off-road vehicle, does it have a card, a license plate for a motorcycle or like a Willys or something like that? If it has a card, a license plate, it is not an off-road vehicle. It is a regular motor vehicle licensed by the state. If it has the state off-road vehicle sticker, like some of the customized like rock crawlers or an ATV, then that would fall under off-road.
Off-road, okay.
Can I ask for a definition of a trailer?
So trailer would fall under the Title 42 definition, which, without pulling it up, would basically be, it doesn't move under its own power. So it has to be towed.
It must be towed and plated.
If not plated, then it'd be inoperable.
Okay. Any other questions about that? Okay, moving on. 1510-1, abandoned ice boxes, refrigerators, and freezers.
What if they're not abandoned?
What if they're not abandoned?
If they're in use?
Outdoors? Are we allowed to have an outdoor refrigerator?
As long as it's on property, outside the accessibility, so if it's behind a fence or somewhere like that, on private property that's currently being used. There are refrigerators that are designed for outdoor use, garage use, and currently in use, then it wouldn't fall under abandoned, it wouldn't fall under our outdoor storage or junk ordinance either, so those would be allowed. If it's not in use or if it is junk or not operable, then it would be in violation.
Any other questions about 1510-1? All right, looks like we went through them. I'd like to recommend that for next month, we finish this. There's only a couple pages left, and let's just get it over with. We've been doing this for months. Would you agree?
Yes.
move on. Okay, we're moving on to the chronic nuisance ordinance follow-up, a draft letter. Per this group's committee's request, I created a draft letter. You should have a copy of it there. And if you'd like to review that, as soon as I can find it. Were there any questions about the letter itself? It was meant to be fairly straightforward. It doesn't have a lot of detail in it. I didn't want to go into it too much, just pick a couple highlights.
I thought it was fine.
Rick, content questions or questions about the letter in general?
I mean, it's any questions you have about it.
Well, we had this discussion a couple months ago about this letter, the letter for the property in South Lincoln Street. We decided that those were not necessarily entwined in a way that this committee could do anything about it. With us and guidance from Councilor Russell, we brought that other letter to the city council to say, we hope you take notice of this, right? The letter that was discussed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This to me reads, we gave our recommendations, but I wouldn't say that that's done. I would say the city council has work to do on it. And so my concern with sending any letter that says, please accept this as is, essentially, concerns me because I do think there's work city council needs to do to better the product, right? We are a first pass. We're providing some advice and counsel to council, which we have done. It goes back to a couple months ago where I suggested what we needed in this meeting at the beginning was an update from city staff or whomever in terms of where things are that we have voted to move forward in the path. And so the update on where that is or what levels of conversations have happened at council or how council may call us before them to go through it, that all seems reasonable to me. I don't support sending this letter.
Okay.
So you do
I
support?
do not support sending this letter.
Could it be reworded, Rick, in a way that was a little bit more general or encouraged them to continue to pursue this concept rather than saying, yeah, we rubber stamp whatever it is that, you know, I mean, we could certainly change the verbiage a little bit.
I think if we're going to if we're going to vote to send recommendations through the chain to council, which is what it is, right? It stops over with city staff before. Our recommendations don't go direct to council. We've seen that with grass and weeds, right? There were some edits that some people agreed with, some that could have been lessened, stronger. That was the meeting you all had last month that I apologize for not being able to be here. For me, my understanding is that we vote, that it moves through its chain, and then it ends up with council. I saw the chronic nuisance conversation happen at study session. There was no mention of this committee. There was no mention of our work on it. There was just, so that means it either did not get to council, right? That we had done some work in this space, or it took whatever path. And that's what I'm more concerned about is I don't know what the path is once we vote on something here. And so to me, sure, we could change the letter, but then let's submit a letter for grass and weeds. Let's submit a letter for, if we have passed something here and think there's change, then we should send that letter proactively every time, and that should become part of our process. So I guess for me, I don't want it to be about this one in particular. That's where my struggle is because it has left us. We don't know what council is actually going to receive, or maybe we get some updates, but it's not how it was when we voted when it left us. And so to then send something to council that says, we expect you to sort of adopt this thing that may not look like what we saw, just also feels not appropriate.
And that was why I asked if there were ways that we could restructure it to make it a little bit more general that basically encourages them to continue to pursue this and to, you know, something along that line. And the reason I'm replying this way, Rick, is because this committee decided to send a letter. Now,
yeah, and again, I could vote against that, right?
Oh,
I wasn't here last
and I
month.
just want, you know, I'm trying to.
So I don't know, I don't believe sending a letter to follow up with city council on something that we've sent them when we don't know the path of how it's gotten there or the track that it took seems to me a very good use of time, unless we're going to just make the cover letter part of our process all along, so that when it does meander its way through city departments or other commissions like zoning, then it arrives to city council with what we originally had hoped to achieve by making recommendations.
Thank you.
But again, I'm one member.
I appreciate
it. Yeah.
Any other comments?
Yeah.
Mike, go ahead.
I'm one member. I just don't see it the way you see it. I think this is an advisory group. I think there's no harm in us advising. I think there's every reason we should put emphasis. Case in point, we have a problem that's out there in Never Never Land. I think city council needs to hear from as many corners of this community as they can. There's nothing we're doing here that's binding, but I think there's a consensus among this group that not only is that case important, there are other cases, and the city of Englewood is on the right track. I mean, to me, this says it all. We believe this ordinance is a crucial step towards maintaining the high quality of life. I don't see it any more complicated than that. City council can amend, ignore, delete, whatever we send to them. As far as fine tuning the verbiage and the punctuations and the legalities, that's what you guys do. So my feeling is anything we can do to kick something in the butt that needs to be kicked, this committee should do.
Mike? Anyone else? You're nodding.
I'm encouraging that. I think we ought to submit the letter. And I don't think you have to submit a letter to every change that we make. Because, for example, we had an ordinance on weeds. We recommended modifying that. That's our job. There was not a chronic nuisance ordinance. And we're asking city council to take that up and with the city attorney develop an ordinance.
Okay. Else? Thoughts?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you.
My question is, when you discussed the chronic nuisance ordinance, did you ever vote on this is the ordinance that we want? We're happy with this. Did you ever vote on that?
No.
Okay. I think the process here is misunderstood a little bit. So you all have developed the ordinance or worked with the city attorney's office to develop what there was. And so you would vote on, yes, we approve this the way it is. It's not necessarily sending a letter like this to city council. This is what we've looked at. This is what we're happy with. And like on the other thing that you were talking about, the modification, you voted on that. And then that modification is what goes to city council or is recommended to city council. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right. Yes, and we did vote on moving the chronic nuisance ordinance forward.
Yes.
Whether we voted to move it to them or to them.
Yeah, we didn't vote to approve it. We voted to
move it through the
encourage,
process.
based upon our recommendations that they continue to move it forward. That's the vote we had. So it was not a vote of overwhelming support or this, we like this is what it should be. We knew this was a procedural thing. We were asked for our opinion on it, and that's what we gave, and that's how we basically said we voted to move it forward, I think is the best way to describe it. So we really never voted on, yeah, this is what we want.
On the ordinance itself.
Correct. That's not our role. We're not, we were asked our opinion, we gave it.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else? Any other thoughts on this? I'm going to call, would somebody call for the vote? I can call.
Well, I have another question. Rita, do you think that we should take the ordinance and maybe spend more time on it?
No, I wasn't suggesting that. What I was suggesting, if you're happy with the way that it was, and I do believe You did vote on it before the whole situation got turned around when the first letter got written. So that really didn't pertain to the ordinance, that pertained more to the problem.
Right.
Okay, so,
And I don't know that we pulled reference of the ordinance out of that letter, as I recall.
Correct.
I don't think there
I
was
think
any
we
reference to the
we
ordinance.
decided
in
as a
there.
group to separate that conversation, and knowing that we felt, due to public comment, in our role as a citizen committee, that we wanted to alert city council that we have some concerns, that someone felt the need to come to us to talk about this problem. And then we would get back to whether a letter to council on the ordinance, chronic nuisance ordinance was needed or appropriate or whatever conversation, so.
Actually, that's a letter, and it does reference, this is the letter.
Oh, that letter.
Yeah. It does reference, the chronic.
Is this the final version?
I kind of thought it was.
Okay. I'd have to check, I'm sorry, I know I've got it in there
Maybe it
someplace,
wasn't.
but, I think when we reviewed the letter, we really didn't want to tie it in with an ordinance that was still being
Okay.
considered. So I think we separated that before it went to a final draft, as I recall. But we'll check into that. Okay. All right, on to the vote. Is this something we want to vote on? Somebody make a motion. Okay, Mike, what is your motion, please?
I move that we proceed and send the letter forward.
Okay, second on the motion?
Aye.
Okay, the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no.
No,
Okay, motion passes, the letter will be sent. All right. Does that need to be passed through you before it gets to Rita? I assume Rita has to take it.
No, and I do want to be careful with what staff's role here is. In accordance with the bylaws, it says we're here to provide technical information regarding the regulatory processes subject to review by this committee. So when letters and things like that are presented, we wouldn't have any involvement in that part. We come into play with things like the weeds and grass ordinance. Last meeting I brought up some concerns about us not being able to enforce that the way it was written, so we talked about that. That's technical advice.
Mhm.
That's where we stop.
Okay.
And that advice is only related to sections of the EMC that this committee is reviewing specifically. That's it.
Okay.
so I think that means the email comes to me and I forward it on to council.
Since there were no amendments to it, I will forward that on with the signature.
And for the future, that's the appropriate.
I just didn't know if there was any other route that we needed to take. First time we've done this.
Okay.
Second time we've done this. Okay. All right, let's move on. Bylaws review. This is going to never happen until we get completely finalized on the new name. So it's kind of sitting there. Everything I believe, I looked over it, it looked good. Can I ask, just because the color highlights were referenced to areas that we were still waiting for decisions on regarding funding, I think was one of them. The other section had to do with abstentions in the highlighted copy that we received. Is that correct?
I believe, yes, that is correct.
Okay. So we will not be making any changes to section 8 voting because at this point, we don't have any clarification from the city.
No, you were provided with that letter.
Oh,
That will provide clarification.
This is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep,
I'm sorry. I meant the finance part.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Finance is still on the table.
Finance is on
Voting
the,
a pretty clear
got it.
response.
Voting is, okay, so clarification.
Councilmember Russell, if you need a copy of that letter, I have
Did I?
extras. If you want a copy, I have extras.
Pass that over. Sorry about that, Rita, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you.
And I've got an extra copy if the guests, a couple copies if the guests would like to take a look too, because I don't think it made it into the packet, so.
Rick, I'll just give you this to it.
Okay, thank you. Carrie, since we've just seen this, can you summarize what's in this so that we aren't sitting here reading for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, every member is required to vote. There are very, very specific reasons when one could abstain from a vote, but it's tied to a conflict of interest or things similar to that. Basically, not voting is saying that you're not doing your duty as a part of this committee. That's very high level summary for you as far as that goes. The letter does provide some specifics related to the handbook and Bob's Rule of Order and things like that, but that's the summary.
Okay, very good. All right, so this is more of an FYI at this point. And I'm sorry because I have not read this and compared it to what we have. Is there a belief that there are things in here that need to be changed because it got clarified by the attorney?
No, section 10 does follow Bob's rule that a member cannot abstain from the vote unless there is a conflict of interest. So the current wording of what it is, it does follow the current Bob's rules.
I think that last sentence there was what brought this all up. Discretionary abstention shall be in accordance with Bob's rules and
And that
procedures.
was,
We
and
didn't
this
know
is
what that said.
basically bringing that, what Bob's rule states back, I think. Okay, any other questions regarding this? Otherwise, we're going to move on. There's no vote to be made on this at all.
I do have one change that needs to be made. Section 9 on page 11 or 13, whichever one you're looking at. Duties of the board administrator. The administrator is spelled wrong on the title.
Oh, thank you. Too many R's in there.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else on any part of this then?
There is just a little ghost text box around financial under section 10, conflict of interest. On the third line down under financial, under parentheses, I just see a little.
What page
It's
is
a
it?
little sticky note. It won't, once it's finalized, it won't print.
It won't, okay,
Same things on the certificate on the last
Okay.
page too.
all right, thank you.
What does that mean?
It's just a note within the editing process, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a note for us to remember who we were discussing here, but that note won't print. in the
Okay,
final.
all right, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, let's move on. New business, we're on to city events. And thank you very much. I believe it was AJ or Shelley, whoever pulled all the data together for this. We have a listing of the events for the year. It's an opportunity for us to kind of move forward on a little more public facing of the work that is being done here. And I'm going to kind of turn it over to the chair of the publicity committee or the communications committee to kind of lead us. What do you want to do? What do you think we should be doing with this?
Well, I think, first of all, we need to have some, at least a table with a cover on it and some kind of identity that goes with
I
it.
guess I was more looking at the dates here. Do we
Right.
want, were there things that you think we should be focused on or?
Well, some of them, I don't know what is the South Broadway signature event? Does anybody know what that is? Or Celebrate Englewood, what is that?
So Celebrate Inglewood is more like the city's Touch a Truck, large event that they hold in the Circle Drive every year.
It's a what?
It's
Did
like
you-
a Touch a Truck event where the city will bring out the Public Works Department, the Police Department, all the state departments will bring out different vehicles, get to know all the state departments, that type of event.
Okay, and the tables are around the city. Yeah, I've manned that for the library. I think the library has a table. What about volunteer appreciation?
That's for the city volunteers.
Okay, which is like us?
For any volunteers for the city for different events for,
Is it Pirates Cove again?
I'm not sure.
That would be fun.
Which one are you looking at? The 617?
It used to be a pirate ship. Last one I went to was Pirates Cove.
It is a Pirates Cove.
Pirates Cove, okay.
This year? Okay. I know that we were doing the construction work over there. I didn't know if that was playing into this.
And then going back to the South Broadway signature event, it's not on the city's calendar yet, so I would just say stay tuned
Okay,
for that.
and does anyone know what it is exactly?
I am sorry, I'm not familiar with that event.
Okay,
I can answer.
Go ahead.
Yes.
It's supposedly going to be the counterpart to the block party on the north end of Broadway, down on the south end. And I don't think there'll be shutting streets down. They'll probably be holding it in a parking lot, but it hasn't been finalized. That's correct. And so it's still tentative, but that's what.
It's
they're
on the
talking
north end, you said?
This will be on the south end, between 285 and Bellevue. It'll be somewhere there.
Oh, I see, okay, all right. Well, I think, well, definitely, I think we should be addressing the holiday tree lighting here. And I think all of the neighborhood nights.
Okay.
We should try to make those. So I'm opening it up for volunteers.
What is it exactly we would be doing?
Well, last year, we had a table with a makeshift thing, and we had a summary of what CEAC does. And we didn't have any giveaways. But that's why we're trying to do the Engel Fix, because that is the single best way for us to empower citizens to take control out of their environment, of their participating in their neighborhood, helping keep codes reinforced. That's the Engel Fix is a wonderful tool.
We had a simple one-pager that
One
basically went through, remember to, pull your trash cans in, yada, yada. I mean, very simple kind of thoughts of how to stay within code, how not to, don't leave your noise on after 10 o'clock at night, those kind of things. So it was, and that's what we were doing, was just doing some education around it. A lot of people didn't know that this committee existed as an opportunity for them to come and address concerns that they have in their area if they're not feeling that they were addressed by the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So,
so hopefully we'll be able to give Engel Fix things out and those same kind of summary, helpful hints. I think it was pretty successful.
So neighborhood nights, is there any particular events over here that we feel, committee, that would be beneficial to us being there?
I do think the holiday tree lighting might be good.
Block party.
And the block party, definitely.
So I'm highlighting that, tree lighting.
Rick, can I ask a question?
Yeah, Rick, go ahead.
Now that code compliance is under community development, do you all have a presence at these events, and is there had been a desire previously for code compliance to code enforcement to attend these events in a way that was less associated just with the police, just in terms of wanting to talk to people about grass and weeds and not the drones and the things that the police were bringing. And so, but the sort of being able to join forces with this just feels different in terms of what, again, if we have trouble staffing, which we did last year, right?
Yes.
So one person can show off, you know what I mean? I guess I'm just trying to, and we're passing out angle fix sticker, you know, or magnets or whatnot, like. This needs to be its own thing.
No, so this work group has been tasked to be more involved with the community, more engaged with these events, and have more of a presence than what we may have seen in the past. So there will definitely be involvement from this group with these events.
So would you see value in us being part of that so that we can
It could
still
be a
be there and
collaboration.
talk and chat and pass out magnets and have a broader discussion?
It could be something where it is a bit of a mix. I wouldn't see,
Do you have a table?
we do not have a table yet.
Are you
Sounds like
planning
they're
on
charged
having
with
one?
getting one.
We are taking a look at how we can bring in those components to these events, and we would like to have something like that eventually, yes.
The block party trailer has tables.
Well,
They
there
actually,
could-
There's
Parks-
tables somewhere.
Yeah.
Parks provides
Yeah.
tables for the events, for the
They
neighborhood
set
nights.
them up.
They provide the table, it's the table covering, it's whatever else you want to do
And-
with it,
and-
that, you know.
Yeah.
It's more of the branding, I think, that would cost a little bit versus just a table. You know, having a presence there would be a little bit more involved.
Well, we could just have one table for both. I mean, we're part of
Well,
community development.
I think that this committee wants to kind of stand out as its own thing, and I don't think there's anything wrong with us having our own table covering and perhaps being next to the one for community development.
I think it could be a supportive effort. I don't know that it would be the same table, but I do think we could be reasonably located next to each other to kind
Yeah.
of help.
As a part of it.
Sure.
So, holiday, back to the events, holiday tree lighting and the block party. And then I would also think the signature, didn't you say the signature event was North Broadway?
South Broadway.
Or South Broadway?
We're going to have a bit of a difficulty with that because that's 411, and I'm not
Yeah,
even sure
we're
we're going to have
We're gonna have
our
it.
names corrected yet, let alone the tablecloths.
Right.
So,
So maybe not this year.
yeah.
I don't know about Celebrate Englewood. I do think we should, because I've been there with the library and it's very, the fire, there's representation from different
Mhm.
groups.
I would
think
agree
it's
with
very
that.
helpful.
I've helped with that event too.
Yeah.
It's well attended.
So that one. So who can do, who's willing to volunteer?
Can we do a sign-up sheet? Would that be
Yeah,
easier?
we're far enough ahead with this. Why don't you, can I ask that everybody maybe take a look at their schedules and see
Okay.
what events they can attend, and maybe the next meeting, let's plan on doing a follow-up on this, and we'll kind of plug people in. I think that what I'm hearing is we've got 3 events from the signature event groups, the Celebrate Englewood block party, and then the tree lighting, and then the effort will be made to attend as many of the neighborhood nights as
Right.
possible.
Right.
Often, unfortunately, they get canceled too. So, you know, it's kind of, just depends on the weather. Sometimes we've got really inclement weather for those things too.
But they are becoming pretty popular.
Oh, yes.
I will say that.
So let's plan on doing that next meeting. Please come with ideas. I would encourage all of us to participate at least a little bit.
Yes.
So it doesn't fall on a lot of people, a small group of people that have to do this. So, okay. Okay, any other questions about this? All right, let's move on. Council liaisons report. Rita?
So I want to thank you all for what you do and volunteering on this committee. What I'm going to share tonight is a little bit difficult for me because my name has been dragged through the mud. I want you all to know that every board and commission serves at the will of City Council, not vice versa. And I know some of you have reached out to me and apologized for things you said. I've forgiven you and I've moved on. But this, in the last week, it has come to my attention that one of the board members came, instead of coming to me to ask me whether I sent the letter on to city council or not, told a citizen I did not. And I would greatly appreciate it if any one of you have a problem with me, that you come to me. I know a lot of people in this city, and I generally hear when something happens. And it is very unprofessional for someone to do that. And now we have a misunderstanding that council has done nothing about this. I do not believe that's true. Some of the misunderstanding probably goes back to January. When I believe January was when the letter got changed, correct? And that letter was sent to me. I brought it up the very next meeting, and then later I forwarded the actual letter to the mayor and to the city manager. I want to thank you again for generating that letter, because I believe that letter was exactly what this committee is designed to do. And I would have voted against changing the name to Code Compliance had it not been told to me, because I asked this. You still will be over code enforcement as it's related to things that go on through PD. All of the same jobs that you had, you still have. And so I appreciate that. And you all need to do exactly what you did for Mr. Ben David, because you have a voice, you used it, and it was effective, whether you know it or not. Now, the situation where Mr. Ben David was told that I didn't do my job, it would have been much better for you to suggest that Mr. Ben David come to me. Because I will tell you this, when I ask for something personally from the city manager, it gets done. And that is why people come to me. And so I want to clear up any misunderstandings. I want to move forward from this point. I can forgive and go on, because, you know, when you're involved in the political field, things happen all the time. And so I deal with it and then go on the next week. But we just need to learn common sense, polite things to do. And I thank you for what you're doing. And I want this committee to be effective. I have been on this committee since I got on city council. And this committee has been my passion, because the people in Inglewood want their city to be nice and to look nice and to be safe. And you all need to be effective at doing your job. No division needs to be created. And so, I mean, I'm pretty open. If somebody comes to me, I will listen, and we can work through things. But I thank you, and I am trying to do the best that I can. I will put this letter forward through the chain. I will bring it up also at Monday's council meeting. So I appreciate that. And as far as, I don't think anything's changed yet. The nuisance, the chronic nuisance ordinance has not come forward because you all haven't weighed in. I think it's ready to come forward, but you all need to weigh in. But I don't think, unless there's some egregious things that a council member would decide they wanted to make amendments on it, it probably will come forward in the way that it left this committee. So anyway, that's where it's at. If you have any other questions about council, there is one other thing that's probably of interest to you, is that there is a special election on April 7th in District 1 to fill the empty vacant council seat. So thank you very much for what you do.
Thank you. Any questions for Rita?
Rita, you had indicated that there was some kind of distress or something for us to, in the process of, you know, you bringing it forward, that we're not supposed to, we're stepping out of our role or.
Right, but that actually was corrected in the draft letter before the letter came forward. It was addressed through council, which council does have the authority to bring that forward and to ask for that to be done. I think that there are changes that continue to need to be made, and you all need to keep doing what you're doing, and we'll continue to do what we're doing. But if we quit bringing these things forward to the attention, they will get dismissed and never be dealt with. And I totally understand Mr. David's frustration. I'm frustrated about that situation myself.
How do we, or what is stopping the process? What is stopping the action, taking action on this?
Right now, I think in the current situation that you're waiting for, it is probably tied up in legal. I mean, they're looking at legal things. I don't know how long that's going to be tied up, and the bottom line is, I will bring this up to make sure that they're communicating with you about what's going on. And I would encourage you to contact me if it's not moving fast enough.
It's been 8 years.
Yeah, I know. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Now, what about the ordinance itself? Do we need to take that ordinance and relook at it and then put a formal stamp of approval on it, or
no, because
what do we need to do?
You've already voted to approve that. You voted to approve the letter, and so it will just go forward. And I personally believe if it's egregious enough, if there's something in there that's egregious, that council would make amendments, or, I mean, there have been things in the past that just, we're all moving forward, and then all of a sudden something happens and it never comes forward. So I don't know how that happens, but it does. So I think as soon as this letter gets in there, I'm assuming it'll be put on the agenda fairly quickly after they receive this letter.
Great, thank you.
Okay, good.
Anything else? Thank you very much. We're on to staff's choice. We're reviewing the, oh, by the way, you know, if you don't have it, maybe you could request, or we could get a copy of the full report from 2025, because we had it from 2024. Do we still, can we just have a copy the next time so that people can do the comparison thing on a monthly basis? Just the final year's report from 2025, so that when we look at the 2026 numbers, we have something directly to compare it to.
That would have been in January.
Okay.
That you asked everyone to hold on to.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Hopefully you've all held on to it. Now. Okay. Okay, take a look, please, if you haven't already taken a look at some of the information. Go ahead.
I just had a question. What is PR?
Public relations.
I know.
So it's just, there's no violation, it's just talking with someone, answering a question, providing education, that there was either no violation, something along those lines.
Almost like a police contact.
Yes or no, but it could be a citizen calling in with a question, it could be
Flagged down.
yeah. It could just be walking around on extra patrol, flagging down, anything like that.
Contact, yeah, okay.
AJ, I think the thing I'm sort of glaring to me is how significantly fewer of everything there is for the first 2 months of this year compared to last year. I mean, it's across the board.
Yeah, and that's sort of the second part of my update, is we were pretty much at half staff since November. I'm happy to say that we had, as of the 9th, our newest code compliance officer started. And actually, as of next week, our new park ranger starts as well. So we will be back to full staff from our full-time employees, and then we will be starting the hiring process for our seasonal here beginning mid-April as well. So we are back up to staffing now, so those numbers should be going up as well. But with hiring and all the process and time it takes with that with staff as well, our numbers are down from February just because of all the time it takes with that. But we have had quite a few animal cases that are more involved, that have taken time off the road from the other cases as well.
2 questions.
Yes.
With regard to animal control, is that referred through the Humane Society of South Platte? Or do you guys handle that?
We handle all that. The Humane Society is just our shelter where we have animals.
Or you take them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, yeah, they're just strictly our shelter where we take animals that are impounded, but all of animal control and that is done through us.
Okay. And then what is under case status UTL, UTC?
So UTL, UTC is either unable to locate or unable to catch. So if we get a complaint where we can't find a violation, it'll be unable to locate. In some circumstances where there's a dog that's running at large that we can't catch for whatever reason, that would be a UTC or unable to catch.
It does seem that barking dogs kind of went up compared to last year. Do you think it's just because the weather's warm and people are outside and the windows are open?
Yep, our at-large, a lot of our numbers have been skewed more towards summer numbers just because the weather has been a lot different.
No snow violations then?
Correct. Yep.
Any questions? Any additional questions for Eric? Okay, seeing none, let's move on. Last on the agenda, well, I'm going to take a member's choice and then I'm going to encourage anybody else to also. It occurred to me a couple weeks ago that the police department offers ride-alongs for people who want to know a little bit more about what's going on a day-to-day basis with the police department. I reached out to AJ a couple of days ago. I said, can code compliance do ride-alongs also? And he said, sure. So can you kind of elaborate how that's organized a little bit?
Yeah, so we can do ride-alongs for Board of Commission members, and so that's something that you can schedule through me. We do them normally Monday through Friday between 10 and 2. We try to do a 2-hour period, so if that's something you're interested in, feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email, we can get that scheduled. Normally we'll have to have a couple officers on duty just in case something does come in. But 2 hours, we'll take you around the city, show you really what we do, stop at a few parks, show you some violations, and sort of what we do, day-to-day operations.
Be great. I'm going to do it, so I encourage you to jump in.
So how do you contact you, AJ?
Contact me and we'll get it scheduled.
Okay, on to, anybody else have anything that they want to add, member's choice? Okay, moving on then to.
There's a couple, there's 2. Yeah, Rick.
Rick.
Yes. I just wanted to clarify the council members' concerns with that particular situation, and happy to correct the record in public since it needs to be brought here in public. I would suggest that the misunderstandings can occur, and that the same way in which I expect my elected officials to respond to me, that can be in return. And so the conversation that was had was what I knew, which was that letter had been presented to Rita, Councilmember Russell. Councilmember Russell brought that up in the study session regarding the communication, shared that she would need to get it to the mayor because she did not have access to it, everything she shared earlier, and said I was not at the last meeting and that I would be happy to follow up in the meeting to see where that had gone if it had not been discussed in the previous meeting. So that's the conversation that was had, because that is the facts of what happened. And so the council member and I have had a good relationship. We've had good conversation with each other. And similarly, if there's a concern our elected officials should feel free to reach out to their constituents and do that work.
Yes, go ahead.
I have a neighborhood question. There's a property, 3207 South Bannock, that's, it had a house fire, it's condemned. Like, what happens with that property? Like, nothing, still has the condemned sign on it, but it's got a blue tarp over the back of it that I think blew off in the windstorm last couple of days. Generally, just like.
It does have a condemned sign?
It has to be when there's no active power. It's just considered not habitable. Obviously, it's a burn situation. Unfortunately, I know this property and I've worked with the homeowner very closely. It is very much tied up with insurance right now. So sometimes insurance will jump right on it. Sometimes there's complications where it can take a little bit longer than we would all hope for.
Okay. I was just more curious. Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, I see next meeting, the only thing I have on the agenda is to finalize the review of the EMC. And anybody else have anything that they feel is important to the committee that should be on the agenda? I think we are going to also do the sorting of who's going to be doing what event, I think, for that. So we'll have that.
Can I just make a suggestion? And this is probably more a personal style. I'm a visual person. So I think we've had a lot of opportunities as new members here to kind of learn what our role is, where's our swim lane, if you will. And I think the nuisance property is a great example of having a better understanding today of what happens when we do our job and make a recommendation. It then goes to city department. It then goes to possibly another city department. It then goes to city council. And
Or a flow chart.
Exactly. Exactly. So can we maybe just think about, maybe mapping that and giving us a stronger understanding of where our boundaries are.
That's a good point. You don't know you trip over them until you trip over them, right?
Yeah, I could take a shot at it and bring something here, but it may be more of a rules thing.
Yeah, is that something that can be presented in terms of?
So actually, I was going to ask for a little bit of clarity when you say boundaries. Can you dive into that just a little bit?
Sure. Our committee will make a recommendation for X. It then goes to where does it go?
Send it to Rita.
Yeah.
And we give it to Rita.
We send it to
And then
Rita,
Rita sends it to council, then
to the city manager.
depends.
Does everything go to Rita?
Yes, from this group.
We serve at the pleasure of council, so
Yeah.
it all goes through.
And do you present everything to the mayor?
Well, basically, what really happens, I can't email all of well, I suppose if nobody responded back to me, generally, city staff will take that email and forward it to all of council. I'm not sure that happened. So I will check on that. So, and maybe I'll just make it specific, when I send it to the mayor and the city manager, could you please forward this to all of council? So.
Okay.
No. Again, I want to be very clear what we're talking about here. So when you say X, are you talking about your defined role per the bylaws? That's what.
Yes, if the committee makes a recommendation on, we've made recommendations on code, we've made recommendations on bylaws. They've got different paths.
Got it.
And I suppose it's whether or not we go back and revisit the code that the committee's been engaged in for the last couple of years. Probably won't happen for a couple more years. So that's what I was looking for, some clarification around.
Can I ask a question? So like tonight, you said it will, on the Title 16, they will go to P&Z. So that doesn't even come to council until it's been to P&Z. And then does P&Z send it to council, Or do they send it back here and then it goes forward with this?
So AJ and I will go to P and Z and present the changes as sort of a procedural courtesy. And then we'll take it back to council so that that part will go through this committee, through this work group.
Okay.
Same for sustainability. You mentioned again, you wanted to go to them as well. Happy to help with that.
That's just more of an awareness piece that
Sure.
is coming up.
Well, maybe it's just simple as just having more of a, where are we in the process update?
Yeah, and I think going back again to the bylaws when it comes to technical advice, that's the lane that we have to live in.
Yeah.
When it comes to things outside of that, we bow out.
Yeah.
The committee, it's your role.
And my understanding of why we've had the city attorney's office here in the past is that as we've gone through the EMCs, was it having a resource available to answer questions about it or to take concerns and questions that we had about it back to get clarification. And then because we had Vicky here for a number of meetings while we were doing that. And then, Jackson came when the whole nuisance ordinance came up. So on a normal basis, we don't have legal representation because we're not a quasi judicial committee. I think that's the way it's described. So, yeah, that's the situation. Okay, did you get it?
Yeah, I feel
Better about that? Okay,
Thank you.
Anybody else before we adjourn? Okay, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much. Good meeting, guys.